Hello students, welcome to Grammar 310A, our first video, which is related to constituents, the last topic of module number 4. As I told you on Monday, I'm Professor Enilda Rodriguez, and I'm going to be with you during 5 weeks. So hopefully at the end we're going to do a great job. I invite you to watch the video before you go to the class. Please, you need to watch it. And also, if you have any question related to what I'm going to explain right now, ask on Monday. Be ready for asking questions because we are going to go direct to some activities, to some workshops. So, be careful, pay attention. Let's start because time runs. First of all, I have here, what is sentence structure? What comes to our mind is SVO, the structure, right? And you're right. Hopefully at the end, you can be able to identify constituents in sentences. Also, you should be able to know when each constituent has a function in a sentence, and also when constituents are arranged in a certain way. It is not just underlying words and underlining phrases. We're going to see some tests how we know they are constituents in a sentence. But before to go to that specific concept, I need you to be clear on what sentences consist of. Probably you know, probably you can tell me, Professor, of course, sentences consist of the structure, subject plus verb plus object. And you're right. Sentences are a set of words. They are structured in a way that conveys a complete thought, a complete meaning, in order that we can understand what people tell us, right? For example, in here we have a simple sentence. They ate, and we know it is a complete thought. But in this case, and you know that in some cases in English, we can use S plus a verb, and it has a complete meaning because in some cases this verb is an intransitive verb, so it can stand alone. But in some other cases, we have a little bit long sentences. For example, in the second one, it says, they ate delicious pizza with extra cheese at the new Italian restaurant. So we add to the first sentence, which was, they ate, we add a little bit more information because it says here, beyond this core structure, sentences can be expanded and made more complex by adding different phrases and clauses to provide more information. This is a complete sentence, but when we want to add more information to a sentence, we can add different phrases as the example that I just told you. But what we need to be clear is that in the structure, the most common is SVO, right? SVO. And we know that, for example, let's take this example. They ate a delicious pizza, right? You should know that a sentence is divided into subject and predicate, right? What is the subject is from here to here, and what is the predicate from the verb till the end of the sentence. And how can I identify this? This is the subject, and in this case, this one is the same color. This one is my predicate, right? We are clear on that, and you know that. Subject and predicate. So let's move on. I need you to be clear on this. Okay. Now we are going to be in a little bit deep in more information. Okay, it says, okay, let's delve into more details. Let me write the same example. Date, ate, delicious pizza. It is the same example, but now we're going to introduce two new concepts to your grammar vocabulary, which are noun phrase and verb phrase. Professor, and what is that? When we are going to divide a sentence, noun is we are going to call to the subject our noun phrase and to the predicate our verb phrase. And the subject of a sentence, as you know, is a noun. And what is a noun, Professor? Is an object, thing, animal. But in some other cases, as you are in third year, you should know that a noun in some cases is a noun phrase. And what is a noun phrase, Professor? A set of words. Sometimes adverbs, sometimes adjective that give extra information of a noun, right? So in here, this is our, now we're going to call this MP. Okay, while the predicate usually functions as a verb phrase. We know that. But what is a verb phrase, Professor? A verb phrase, first of all, what you need to identify is that the verb phrase starts with a verb. And of course, it is going to have an object, or this is called complement or modifiers. It can also have many phrases in here, in this part here. It can have many phrases, but in this case, it's just this one. So our verb phrase starts from the verb till the end of the sentence. So this is my BP. So we know now two new concepts, right? Our subject now is called our MP, and our predicate, which was the predicate, this is now called BP, our verb phrase. We are clear on that? So now we divide it into two. The subject we call the MP, and the verb phrase or the predicate we're going to call now verb phrase. Easy, right? So I need you to be clear on this. Let's move on. Okay. Professor. Oh, we're going to see something. Probably you know this because you did this part well on the pre-test. Do you think all parts in a sentence are essential or not? If you tell me, Professor, it might depend on the sentence, I need to read the sentence, of course, you're right. You're right, because you need to read the sentence in order to identify if the words in there, all of them are essential or not. And what does that mean, essential and non-essential, Professor? Of course, I'm going to tell you right now. Essential are those words that need to be there in order that the sentence have a complete thought or a complete meaning. For example, if I just told you, Mary likes, okay, if I tell you this, Mary likes, is it a complete sentence? Of course not, right? Because Mary likes what, Professor? Mary's question mark, what? But if I say, Mary likes ice cream, of course, now it is a complete sentence. I have a subject, I have a verb, and I have an object. Now it is a complete thought. And in this case, all of them are essential. Those are essential. This is a complement, because if I don't have ice cream, then the sentence is incomplete, right? But if I give you another example, let's see. Mary drink um, coffee every morning. Oh, let me say. Every morning at the cafeteria. Oh, this is a long sentence now, right? But if I gave you this, of course, first of all, we're going to read the sentence. Mary drink what? What? Mary drinks coffee. Coffee. This one is missing that. Coffee. But if I tell you every morning at the cafeteria, it is not necessary, because if let me just underline this. If I underline Mary drinks coffee, don't you think it have meaning? If I have like a complete meaning, of course, Mary drinks coffee. But we have another additional information that is every morning, and we have also at the cafeteria preposition. Mary drinks coffee, but we can say Mary drinks coffee every morning, and then Mary drinks coffee every morning at the cafeteria. So those here are giving me more information about Mary drinks coffee in the morning, that she drinks coffee at the cafeteria. Professor, and how do we call those words that are just here, that are non-essential? They are called modifiers. What are modifiers, Professor? Words or phrases that are not essential to the core meaning of the sentence, because we can delete this. We can delete this, and the main sentence is this. So they are called modifiers. And I said here, a modifier can be a word or a phrase that add extra information or detail to the main sentence. We have to keep in mind that. Probably if I, let's see if I could use an adverb here. Mary drinks coffee. Let's see that I'm gonna add an adverb carefully. Then it is just one word, right? So that is why it says a modifier can be a word or can be a phrase, as the cafeteria. At the cafeteria, we have a preposition, we have a determinant that is an article, and we have a noun at the head. You see? So be careful on this. Pay attention to this. Now we have in here, can you tell which ones are essential and which ones are not essential in this following example? We have here another example, and it is good because by example is that we learn. I think this way is gonna be helpful for you, because I like instructional videos. In grammar, we know that grammar is not that easy at all sometimes, but when we are illustrated in this way, of course, we are going to get the information in a better way, right? So here I have another example. I visited my uncle last week in the afternoon. In the pretest, I asked you to underline constituents in the verb phrase. Now you know what is a noun phrase, now you know what is a verb phrase. Also, I add you to underline modifiers in the sentence. And those examples were very easy. Now I'm giving you longer sentences. But now you know what are modifiers. Modifiers are those words that are not essential to the core meaning of the sentence. For example, in here, I visited my uncle. Yeah, I visited. I cannot say I visited because I need something else. I visited whom or what. So I need in this case, my direct object. Here, and also the extra information that is following or describing the sentence, but we are not. So with this, I'm going to do the parsing. Now we know that the subject of is my MP, and that the verb in everything is the VP. It is not my predicate, is my VP now, because we're using different or new concepts. So what is essential, professor, in this sentence? It's my subject, my verb, and also my object. And if I read that, I visited my uncle, isn't it a good sentence? Of course, it has a complete meaning, right? So this is essential to the sentence. But I'm adding extra information. I'm just telling the last week. Oh my gosh. Let me just go here, because I want to illustrate you with colors. Oh no, no. Last week, I'm giving extra information. And in the afternoon is another extra information. You have to pay attention to this, because I asked you different constituents. Different constituents can be a word or a phrase. But after this, I visited my uncle. After this sentence, you have to read. You have to do the parsing. Last week is giving me some information. In the afternoon is giving me another information. So you have to pay attention and read carefully the sentence in order for you to analyze the sentence. So, professor, I can say I visited my uncle. Of course, you're right. So last week in the afternoon, they are not essential at all. So they are called modifiers, as I just pasted in there. Okay. Let's see. Let's move on, because we need to move on. Okay. Now we are going to introduce the topic that I just wanted to do. Okay. Now we are going to introduce the concept of constituents, our main business. Constituents. What is constituents for you? What is a constituent, professor? A constituent, it says, as the more generic term for a group of words that add together to form a unit within a sentence structure. Group of words to form a unit. It could be a word or it could be a phrase. And that is not, it is not something new. Now you're going to realize that it is mainly the same that I have been explaining. So important details that we have to keep in mind, that sentences are made of parts. Constituents, those are constituents. Like building blocks. Yeah, because we do the parsing. Each constituent plays a role. Of course, each constituent plays a role in a sentence, because it needs a meaning. We need to have a meaning in the sentence. So, of course, we need constituents. The role of them could be, they could be a subject, they could be a verb, an object. And it says here, some constituents are just one word, or others are a group of words. That is a phrase. It says here, think on a sentence like a puzzle. Think on a sentence like a puzzle. Each piece, which is a constituent that we call part, fits into the sentence in a certain position and plays a role. And then, if you ask me, Professor, and why are constituents important? Of course, they are going to be important, because in that way we understand sentence structure. It is going to be easier for us to identify the different functions of the object, for example. What is important also, number 2, identify phrases and their functions. Yeah, as I was telling you, subject, object, if they are modifier, if they are complement in the sentence. Also to analyze sentence for meaning and structure. Here, as I told you before, sentence have two main constituents. There is the MP plus the VP. MP plus VP. Of course, in addition to them, in a VP, that is what I was just telling you, we can find other type of constituent. From here to the end, we can have prepositional phrases. We can have adverb phrases, and we can have even clauses. As I said here, adjective phrases, adverb phrases, prepositional phrases. In the verb phrase, we can find all of them. And I'm going to give you an example because I asked you also in the pretest to underline constituents in the verb phrase. What are constituents? Now we know that is a group of words that adds together to form a unit. Okay? For example, I'm going to write just this example in a little big way. Oh my gosh. Because probably you are paying attention, right? You must pay attention because we are going to discuss this in our face-to-face session. Pay attention to this because it's probably one of the examples that I gave you in the pretest. Okay, I ask you, underline the constituents in the verb phrase. And I'm gonna be as saying, repeating and repeating this. Because if I tell you that, what comes to your mind? That you have to do first, like the parsing, right? Professor, I need to identify what is the subject and what is the predicate, what is my noun phrase and what is my verb phrase. Okay, this is my, let me see, let me draw in colors because it's gonna be easier. This is my, oh, I cannot see. This is my this is my MP, and this is my BP. Now we know. Oh, now I'm able to identify constituents in the verb phrase. What are constituents? A word or a group of words. Okay. Return, then we immediately realize that return is gonna be my verb. In this sentence, I said, return Jim Thorpe's medal to his family in 1938. Oh, many phrases in there, right? Jim Thorpe's medal. It is one information here. To his family is another information. It is not the same information. In 1938 is another extra information that I'm giving. So what is in here? Let's divide the sentence. What is relevant here? What I need in order for the sentence to have meaning. The Olympic Committee returned Jim Thorpe's medal. I can say that. I can stand until here. And the sentence has meaning, has a complete meaning, or isn't it? Of course, right? The Olympic Committee returned Jim Thorpe's medal. That's it. But of course, the sentence gives me extra information. Olympic Committee returned what? Or who? To whom? To his family. Where? In 1938. So these two is giving me extra information about that. For example, the first one, it says, to whom the Olympic Committee returned the medal? To his family. And where they returned it? In 1938. So those two are giving me extra information. So this until here is not essential, because if I delete this, the sentence have meaning. Okay, let's see another example. You see that now is very easy. Yeah, probably you are gonna be not going to have troubles, because probably you are going to see this. You have seen this with Professor Nadila, the modifiers. But I'm doing just a review because in the test you didn't do well. Of course, I need to be clear that you know this. The other one, the environment will suffer. Oh, that is complete. Because of rising temperatures. Oh, now I have a phrase in there. If I tell you to divide the sentence, okay, the environment professor, this is my subject, so this is my MP. And will suffer because of, no, this is my verb phrase, professor, this is my predicate. And if I read the sentence, the environment will suffer, is it completed or not? The environment will suffer. Of course, it's completed, right? It's complete. So if I just give this sentence until the verb here, of course, the environment will suffer. It is okay. It has a complete thought. It has a complete meaning. But in this case, I'm giving you extra information. I'm explaining why. Because of rising temperatures. Because of probably we can say pollution or many other things. So the environment will suffer because of rising temperatures. So if I until here, the environment will suffer is okay, but this is an extra information, so that if I delete this, of course it has to it has a complete thought here. So because of rising temperatures, it's giving me extra information. So here, because of rising temperatures is a constituent. So if I ask you to underline, you should be able to underline it. Okay? You should be able to underline it. Remember that a constituent in some cases could be a word or could be a phrase, a group of words. In this case, a preposition. And in a preposition, we always have a noun as a head. But this one is giving me extra information about that. So in the classroom, we are going to go to see different activities, and I'm going to be analyzing different sentences. For example, underlining, identifying. You should be able to identify now what is, you should know what is should know what is MP, what is BP. Also, going to underline essential and non-essential words in a sentence, and also to underline the main constituents in the BP. If I ask you BP, then you go immediately in the verb phrase. So you have to underline there the constituents. Of course, this is just the introduction of the topic. Later on, we are going to see, Professor, how do we know they are constituents? So we are going to start next class with the following topic, which is a test in where we are going to be dealing with in order to identify if in a sentence it is or it is not a constituent. So see you on Monday, guys. Thank you so much. Please watch the video. Don't go to the classroom without watch the video, please, because we are going to be just discussing. And I just exemplify this like this in order for you to pay attention, like to be a little bit more clear, because it is not that I'm gonna be just projecting a PowerPoint and explaining without exemplifying you in this way. So that is why I choose this way to explain you. So of course, you can tell me, you can say, oh professor, I would like you to provide more examples, so I can create, like from the one topic, different videos. Thank you so much guys. See you on Monday.